What is up, party people? Happy Friday. We're talking to Chris earlier. Obviously, you know Matt Gaetz is out. Pam Bondi's awesome. Silent assassin. Up until, I would say, January 20th, not a lot's going to happen. The reality is simply there's going to be battles. You know, Pete Hegseth is next, and, you know, let that battle play itself out, and God only knows what that's going to look like. I think he'll be okay. I think he'll get confirmed. But the one thing that happened here was this was a decision that was brilliant. This may have been the one that should have been. And as we were talking earlier with Chris, is Susie Wiles is the Trump whisperer. And if you don't know who she is, she's running everything. She ran the campaign. She is now going to be the chief of staff for him in as president. And she is respected by both the left and the right, and she gets it. One thing about Trump is he's brilliant. He's great at a lot of things. He reads the room like nobody's ever done in politics. He's P.T. Barnum meets a bunch of different people, and you can't put your finger on, for whatever reason, she can. She knows when to say go, and she knows when to say pull back a little bit. Because her thing is, what's your legacy going to be? Right now, if you were to ask me his legacy, there's two things. January 6th is always going to be there. It'll be talked about for years. It'll be read in books, the whole nine yards. Currently, Supreme Court. And he's got 4 more years to add to that. Because every president, people say, do they really care about legacy? Well, first of all, yes. You don't get to be president of the United States and not have an ego. If you just have to. You have to have some sort of ego. And no offense for some people out there who love Trump, that dude's got an ego. Right? He's got a huge ego, as you should. Why wouldn't you want one? You want somebody to believe that they're all that. But of course they think of legacy. And it's not just about whether or not they're going to have a school named after them or whether or not they're going to have a library. It's more than that. And I think she's going to help craft 4 years of amazing stuff. I really do. And I think this pick is great. And the other thing about this pick is, it is a situation when they make the pick and people start going, yeah, you know what? She's like really good at this. And she's really qualified.
Pam Bondi is, without a question, qualified to be Attorney General. She's been a prosecutor for 20 years in Florida. For 8 of those, she was the Attorney General of the state. That's a very big, very complicated job. And that level of experience is on par with or better than most United States attorneys general that we've seen over the past 50 years or so.
And not only, you don't know what it's like until you're in, right? The closest you'll get, like even one of the reasons we usually get presidents from governors is because governors have done something similar. You've run a state, a mini country. You've had to deal with both the right and the left. You've had to deal with the legislature. You've had to deal with the AGs. You've had to deal with all of the stuff. It's a huge win. That's why we normally get them from the presidents, from governors. She's been an AG. Most people that end up being AG, they've never been an AG. They've never held that position, even at a state level. So you've got somebody who is going to, I think, do the job. And, the other thing is going to scare the hell out of the liberals. Let's be real. Because simply, as they talk about on MSNBC, which I still think is it still a thing, or have they gotten rid of it? I know it's for sale. I'm not quite sure how much they want for it, a couple $100. But it shows you that they're like, okay, this is somebody who's real. This is somebody who's serious.
Pam Bondi is exactly what I was saying in the last segment that we should all fear. Because she's competent. We may not agree with her ideologically, but she actually knows how to do this job. So if anyone on the Democratic side or anyone who cared about liberty or justice was thinking, well, maybe Matt Gaetz will screw this up and that'll give us some time. No, Pam Bondi knows what she's doing. She knows what she's doing about immigration. Remember, Florida is one of those states that's been very aggressive about migrants and deportation and moving people to different states and everything else like that. Florida has enacted all sorts of rules and laws to curtail students and what they can do on campuses and finding legal justifications for manipulating education money. She is a dangerous and effective pick.
She's not dangerous. That's silly. Stop being ridiculous. They always make it, she's dangerous. Like, really, was she a ninja? Is that what she has? Is like, you didn't know this? Oh, yeah, Pam Bondi, assassin. It's fantastic. You seen the movie The Hitman? If you shave her head, you'll see those little things back there. Those little, like when you scan the barcode. Yeah, because she's like number 9 She's not dangerous. She's effective. When you're AG, your thing is you protect your state. Yes, you go after criminals, but it's also protecting your state because federal government, federal overreach. One of the things she was great at is making sure that when laws were being crafted, that they would withstand challenges because that's what's going to happen, right? So when it came to immigration, perfect example. Well, when they started doing things with immigration, the feds come in and go, you can't do that. That's rogue. You can't do that. And she's like, well, hold up. We sure can. It goes to courts. Challenge after challenge. You win, you win. That's what AGs do. They sue the feds and they defend themselves from the feds. Already in California, crazy California, they have their AG, Rob Bonta, coming out saying, hey, we've got all this money put aside. We've got all this stuff going on. What we're going to do is sue Trump when he tries to do all of these things when it comes to climate change or any of this stuff. Your AG is as much about being a protector for your state and now for her, for the country and for the laws. And the most important thing is the Constitution and the laws. That's what you're there for. And yes, the loyalty thing, which is just the most, oh my God, that drives me crazy. Have you ever worked somewhere where a new group of people come in and they go, whatever you do, surround me with people that hate me? No, no, because that's not what you do. You put people around you that you respect. You put people around you that they're on the same page. You guys are rowing in the same direction. That's the way that works. So I think it's a good pick. On to Matt Gaetz. It was a flawed pick from the beginning. And I know a lot of people out there, Chris and I were talking, he likes the fact that he fights. Fighting is good, but there's more to it. There's more to just the fighting. And the reality is you want people that are as close as you can to be above reproach. Because this is a time with social media, with everything, that these battles that are going on, and unfortunately, social media at times has an outsized influence on things that go on in the real world. But you want to be able to go out there and know that that person is not only, because I don't think Matt would have done a horrible job, but the controversy along the way that is unnecessary, I think was the issue. And I don't know what happened, all right? What I do know is there were issues with him at some parties, younger girls. How old were they? Did he or didn't he? Were there drugs, this, that? I don't know any of what it is. I know they didn't charge him, right? I know they didn't do that. But that being said, how many of you out there have sent, let me ask, Belle, I don't know how old you are because I can't see your head. Out of curiosity, have you ever sent $10,000 to young girls on Venmo?
You told me you weren't going to bring that up.
I know, but have you? Probably not lately.
Well, not since I work here.
Yeah, not since I've been in radio. Things like that you would ask your husband, what is this for? What is this all about? That's the issue. This isn't a Pete Hegseth thing where it was a he said, she said, it was a hotel room, he paid her off. I get why he did it during the Me Too movement, which, by the way, there's $18.2 million in a slush fund that has been paid out by Congress to people that have been sexually harassed. 297 at the last count, I think. So before they all say we're all above reproach and we're going to sit there and grill, they understand that, look, there's stuff out there and all those things, of course, are quiet. That was a different story. And so I think he'll get through. I think by and large, most of them will get through. But part of it is I'm good with fighters. I'm good with people that are going to go out and they're going to root out corruption and they're going to uphold the law and they're going to stand on the Constitution that I'm here to protect this. That's a good thing. But you want to do it in such a way where the momentum is so good that when the other side comes, and they're going to come, let's be real. They could have picked somebody that the left wanted and they would have turned on. Because at this point in time, it's Donald Trump. If Donald Trump, for them, saved them from drowning, they would say, you touched me and I wish I was dead. Like, that's the kind of insanity that you're dealing with. So the best thing is just go win. Pay no attention and win. And I think this was a smart move. I really do. And I don't know what Matt's going to do. He could do anything. There's plenty of stuff for him to do. It's not like he's starving. You know, I mean, they think he's going to go get offered a ton of lobbyist positions. He'll get offered the possibility to, I don't think he's going to be senator. I mean, it's possible because, you know, Trump could make a phone call and say, look, dude, let's do a solid here, which is possible because now that, you know, he and the little guy are talking. You know what? He could go, like I said, to the RNC. So there's always an opportunity there. It's just, my thing is, you go, you get it settled as fast as possible. You get your people in place where there's less battling at the beginning because you've got to hit the ground running, which is the most important thing for Trump. You have 4 years left, of which, realistically, you've got to think, I've got 2 years left. Because if we don't get stuff done now, come midterms, where the Republicans have to do what? They've got to protect more seats than this last one in the Senate. And if things aren't going well, guess what ends up happening? And we're a fickle nation. We make a change. And then you don't want your last 2 years to truly be lame duck. So you get ahead of it as fast as possible. And part of that is getting your team in place. I'm Chad Benson, and for Matt Murphy, who will be here later for Brian Wilson. So lots of stuff to go on today. We're going to talk a little bit more politics, but I want to talk about the kayaker that went missing. It's the great story. We touched on it last week. We now have a video of him, which is hilarious. I want to know, would you ever do this? How desperate of a person do you have to be to do what this guy did? And have you seen, did you guys talk about it this week, Bill? Have you talked about the new Volvo commercial? And the new, have you talked about the new Jaguar commercial?
We talked about the new Jaguar logo, but not the commercials.
Have you seen the commercial?
No.
We're going to talk about it. Oh, so much stuff. I'm Chad Benson, in for Matt Murphy. This is Super Talk 99.7. All right, Raycon, best earbuds around. You know, Black Friday's a week from today. Then you've got Cyber Monday. But with Raycon, you've got exactly what you need when it comes to premium audio at a price that will not break the bank. My everyday earbuds, I wear them every day. They're incredible. The fit, the feel, the sound, the comfort, they're amazing. I'd be wearing them now, but we've got to do these cord things here. But these things are incredible. 8 hours of talk time, 32 hours of battery life, multi-connectivity, which is nice, and active noise cancellation at a price that won't break the bank. You'll find nothing close to this for this kind of price. Right now, I'm going to save you up to 30%. They give you free shipping and a 30-day happiness guarantee. If for whatever reason you're not happy, you send them back. They get your money back to you, and you don't have to worry about a thing. It's that simple. Go to buyraycon.com/chat. Check out all the great deals they have, but it's up to 30% site-wide off on top of everything else, and the best earbuds around. The everyday earbuds from Raycon. Buyraycon.com/chat. Buyraycon.com/chat.
Former Florida Congressman Matt Gaetz says not only will he not be under consideration as the U.S. Attorney General, but he's done with Congress, too. And Sean Diddy Combs expected back in court today. These stories and more at 12:30 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Big times next week. A lot of stuff going on. I'm going to be here on Wednesday, and we're going to do the thing. So what are we doing on Monday? Explain it to me, young Bell. What is going on Monday?
We'll be broadcasting live from the Nashville Rescue Mission and raising money in their annual telethon for meals for the people that are attending their campus.
Okay, that's awesome. It's giving back, which is the most important thing. And I hear you guys are the most giving people of all. I'm excited about that. And then no traveling.
Some woman tried to give me her baby one time. I'm like, it's not that kind of giving.
Good money. Those are good eating.
Well,
wow.
You can get them tenderized properly.
We're kidding, of course, so everybody settle down. Who do you think we are? You know who Armie Hammer is?
Yeah.
So,
didn't he? He played the Lone Ranger in that abysmal Lone Ranger movie that he and Johnny Depp were in.
I'm going to get him to come on the show because I was joking about the cannibalism thing, but that's where. So this guy was at the height of you talked about the Lone Ranger movie, which was just abysmal. It ended up becoming Johnny Depp's Tonto.
Yes.
Is what it was. But he had been in a ton of stuff. So his name is Armie Hammer because he is named for his great-great-grandfather, who, of course, was Armand Hammer. And, so the whole giant, Armand Hammer family, of which everybody knows and probably have it in your refrigerator as we speak. But his fall from grace. So you know what happened a few years ago, Bell, right? So there was
tripped over a corpse and tried to eat it.
Basically the whole thing was he was kind of a little twisted.
He was sending texts about his perversions.
Yes. And there was allegations that he was physically abusive, which never panned out. They would never charge him with anything. His wife and one of his girlfriends said that, at times he could be emotionally abusive, but I don't even know what that counts like anymore in this world. But he's owned up to it. But one of his things was, they've accused him of being a cannibal or having cannibal-like fantasies, including eating the rib of one of his girlfriends, which is so weird. Like, that's a weird, you got to be really off the rocker for that. And
eat the rib, sell the rest.
I'm not really into butt and thigh. So, but we're going to try to get him on because he's trying to rebuild his life. So this was a guy who starred in major motion pictures. And I'm talking about, he was in Entourage. He was in so many big movies. He got nominated for a Golden Globe. And then the next thing you know, this comes out. And what has happened from then till now, where he lost everything. When I mean everything, I'm talking about a guy who he was basically homeless, couch surfing. But it brought up an interesting question I talked about is, because this week Morgan Whalen won the Entertainer of the Year, and we know what happened 3 years ago. And that question about at what point do we forgive as a society? Is there forgiveness? And, people make mistakes. And even with Matt Gaetz, at what point is there forgiveness where you go, well, that was then, this is now, or have you turned over a new leaf? The trust but verify, you give people more opportunities. And this guy started a podcast about going from, something to nothing.
No, sorry.
Yeah, it's a cooking show. He actually jokes about it because the people he's had on so far, he's had his mom on, who's a big evangelist. He had Tom Arnold on, who stood with him the whole time. And, Tom, basically, he says to his people, you ask me anything you want. Nothing's off limits. And, Tom's like, the cannibal thing. He says, look, here's the cannibal thing. It's more interesting that Armie Hammer is a cannibal in the salaciousness, or because all you hear now is cannibal. That's all you hear. So, but there's a unique question about where is forgiveness? The same thing goes with Morgan Whalen. We know what happened to him, right? I mean, it didn't hurt his sales, but he was banned from the CMAs. Nobody wanted to touch him, but he was still a major star. But he won this week, and he still wasn't there. He didn't need anybody.
His response to getting blackballed by the industry was, "Excuse me while I play these stadiums."
Yeah, which was, because it was weird because he was an up and coming, and all that did was made him bigger. I mean, it did, because people got, partially what happened is people did what? They said, screw you guys. You're not going to tell me who I can't listen to. He said something stupid at 3 a.m. as a young person with drunk. You can't, that can't be his whole life. And it caused the exact opposite. Instead of canceling, it brought it to him. But the industry freaked out. What do? We ban him because everybody thinks everybody in country music's racist. So it was, it's interesting. But it does bring you to the point, even whether it's Matt Gaetz or somebody else, where is the situation where the forgiveness comes in? So, and it's that first step, right? It's that first step with us, the entertainer, and us, the consumer. My name's Chad Benson. I am in for the lovely Matt, who will be here later for Brian. A lot of stuff still to get to. Will you be going home for the holidays? And what's that going to be like? As well as dragons. We'll talk dragons. It's Chad Benson right here. News Talk 99.
12:30 on the dot. I'm Ken Weaver with your top stories, and we're monitoring reports of a Metro traffic cop getting hurt in a crash, rushed to the hospital. Channel 4 says he was on his motorcycle when it was hit by an SUV at Elm Hill Pike and McCrory Creek Road in Donaldson. The driver of the SUV cited for not having a license. Full forecast in 5 minutes. Matt Gaetz says he's not rejoining Congress, and then today he also says he's this is one day, that is, after withdrawing from consideration as U.S. Attorney General. Gaetz telling the Charlie Kirk Show he's going to work to advance President-elect Trump's agenda just from somewhere else.
I've got some other goals in life that I'm eager to pursue with my wife and my family. And so I'm going to be fighting for President Trump. I'm going to be doing whatever he asks of me, as I always have. But I think that 8 years is probably enough time in the United States Congress.
President-elect Trump's new pick for Attorney General's former Florida Attorney General Pam Bondi. Sean Diddy Combs expected back in court in New York City. The music mogul's defense team making another case to get Combs out of jail on bail. He was jailed in September when he was hit with several federal charges, including sex trafficking, which he denies. Aaron Katersky reports attorneys argue a video of Combs allegedly attacking his ex Cassie Ventura was manipulated.
The prosecutors are confident they don't even need the evidence. They say there's enough just on the record, as has already been presented, to keep Combs locked up.
And the cars with the highest number of fatal crashes may not be that way entirely because of the cars, says a new study. Here's Chuck Severson.
Gizmodo reports that new analysis by the automotive search engine IC Cars of data from the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration says Tesla has the highest fatal accident rate by brand. But the report also says it's possible that it's because of the drivers as well as the car's design. Tesla's reliance on automated software has been eyed as a potential safety issue. This year, the vehicle history information vendor EpicVin claimed Tesla drivers were least likely to be killed in crashes.
That is the latest news. Weather's next. I'm Ken Weaver, WTN News.
tell you guys, social media is crazy. So earlier this week, I joined Blue Sky. If you don't know what Blue Sky is.
Liberal Twitter.
Liberal Twitter. It looks just like Twitter, too. Now, I haven't posted anything. My whole thing was I was just going to stream Alex Jones' show the entire time and see how long I last. But it's not a good thing that we can't be in the same town square together. We need that. I don't care if you're conservative. I don't care if you're a MAGA. I don't care if you're uber progressive. We do have things in common, but we've got to listen to each other. Right? Like, I agree with you guys out there probably. I believe our way is the best way. That being said, we've got to be able to have a conversation. And the left hates having conversations, especially if there's going to be facts and data. I believe the science, except where the science is, that's a woman or a boy, whatever. You know, that's where that stuff goes out the window, right? Oh, you got to wear a mask. Wear 12 masks. It's going to be great. It'll stop. Again, insanity, knowing full well none of that stuff was real. But we have to. And so Blue Sky, if you don't know what it is liberal Twitter. Now, I've been on there. For whatever reason, I have like several followers. I've never posted anything, and I'm going to eventually. And I've got, some people have gone there to troll, which is hilarious, but it is growing. And here's the thing, and this is what I've been telling people. And, I studied psychology, not in college. I did it for, a little bit in college just for the laugh of it. When you go into an echo chamber, it's not just about affirmation. You get more things that are thrown at you where you start getting dragged into things and you start to become intolerant. And the left had all of the social media. They could sit there and talk, but the reality is the right dominates a lot of social media, whether it's on YouTube, whether it's on Facebook, whether it's on Twitter, Instagram, not so much. TikTok, I'm not quite sure, right? So TikTok's fun, though. I mean, I'm not going to lie to you. I get sucked into that stuff, too. But this is the founder of Blue Sky talking about the utopia that is Blue Sky.
There are a lot of people, celebrities included, who are flocking to Blue Sky. You're only 33 years old. You've got about, 20 employees or so. How are you managing the influx, the attention? What has this been like?
It's super exciting. We've been scaling up. There's been about 1 million people joining a day for the past week. And we've just been telling people how it works, showing them how it's different. And a lot of people are saying they're having a lot more fun here. They're having an experience where they're making friends online again and talking to people that is just something that they haven't experienced in a long time.
How have you not experienced that, out of curiosity? Well, because Twitter's evil. No, Twitter's not. Here's what Twitter is. Twitter is a place that can be great, can be entertaining, can be a succubus of time. I think we all agree with that. Take away the politics. How many of us, whether it's Twitter, Instagram, you get sucked into not even doom scrolling, just stupid scrolling, like all day. I mean, I've seen it with my wife. God bless her. I love her, honey. You're probably watching. I'm sorry. But the reality is you can sit there sometimes and if you've seen that where like you're talking to them and you go away for 30 minutes, you come back and 40 minutes later, you're just sitting there and that person's still doing that. That's what happens in some of these things. But this is all about politics. The left is heading somewhere where they want their views unchallenged.
The tone and the environment and the community that you seek to create through Blue Sky, is it intentionally distinct from, say, an X?
Well, our goal is to give users an experience where they can have fun and feel safe. Always focus a lot on trust and safety, making sure that users have ability to have an experience that's, free from bots and harassment and spam.
Bots, okay, I get sick of bots. Spam, that's everywhere. And they're thinking about going to a new version of it where it's going to be subscription only. But I talk about this because The View, who, as we know, is the arbiter of truth, is talking a lot about this because, and we're going to get to it, the excitement of the dragon in a minute, talking about, this is good that people go here because the right is so mean on Twitter.
Did you know that nearly 40% of young Americans get their news from social media influencers who skewer towards the right? And there's also been a mass exodus from Elon Musk's social media site X over to the new site Blue Sky. So if this is the young generation's mainstream media, does it just intensify the echo chamber that is already cable news?
Yeah, well, cable news is done. Cable news is absolutely done. You saw MSNBC's up for sale. I saw Rachel Maddow signed a contract, a new extension, which is, it baffles the mind. We'll talk about that in a second, just what she gets paid for what she does. But the echo chamber is dangerous, and that's for all sides, because what happens is you have nobody to push back. You have nobody to give you a different point of view. You have nobody who you can show your data to, and which is and the truth, if you will, whatever it is. And people, because that's where the radicalization comes, when you have only one sense. The goal should be bringing us closer together and trying to get people to say, look, you believe this, I believe this. My way, here is what it is, and this is what it's all about. Your way, in particular a lot of liberals, it's about feelings, not facts. And we recognize that. And when you get sucked into that echo chamber, it becomes worse and worse. And you should be. I've got friends who are liberal. They're like, I'm not leaving Twitter because I like to, argue, and I like to hear the other side or whatever it is. That's what you should want.
What I do worry about with this, like the Blue Sky versus X, because a lot of people I follow on X, Twitter, have now left to go to Blue Sky. I worry we're all going into our own echo chamber. So we had this, this election that was tense. Donald Trump won, and the right is going to stay on X, and then the left is all going to be on Blue Sky. How do we try to talk to each other?
Unfortunately, I will have to say, the other side, I think, has driven people away. It's not just discourse. It's nasty name-calling and coming after your family, and I'm going to do this to you. And I don't think anyone should have to take that from anybody if they don't have to.
No, you shouldn't have to. But it's the internet. By the way, it doesn't matter where you post on the internet. You're going to get, like, I'm sitting here and people are texting and most of them are cool and some people are like, you're the worst or whatever. I expect that. That's life, right? Some people are miserable. Some people just want to have a chance to bitch. Some people, they have that. But I'd never want to take away anybody's voice. But if you can't have a conversation with your ideas challenged, then that's not a good thing. And if you're only going to go on feelings, and we've got a dad, we're going to play what he did to his kids later, and there's a lot to deal with this. It is a situation that's not a good place to be. It isn't. You want to be able to challenge. Because my thing is politics. My grandfather really brought me into politics, and he was the president of the Carpenters Union. He was a staunch Democrat. This is, again, think Reagan Democrats back in the day. He and I used to have the best debates, and then we get heated at times, even when I was younger. But the goal was always find our common ground. But my thing is, let me show you why my way's better. And I do feel like people are running away. And I'm looking at the left going, why are you running away? If you're that, partly, let's be real, they're a little uncomfortable with the fact they got their ass handed to us. But as all this is going on in the View, eventually Joy has to stand up. And we'll get there. Oh, my God, just the whole thought of her.
People want us divided, and they aren't just here in this country. They're foreign adversaries who are infiltrating our social media because it is prudent for us to stay that way. So when you see something that really pisses you off, you should triple check that one.
Yeah. But I think that's why people like our show, because they know that we are checked by ABC News. But
we're checked by everybody.
Yeah. I mean, if we're wrong, we have, the legal note here.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but except for the fact that you guys aren't the arbiter of truth. ABC checks you because they're worried about getting sued. They're not worried if you say something wild that is ridiculous, that doesn't have a name attached to it. You had to come out the other day and apologize to Matt Gaetz because you were saying as if he had been convicted of something, which is not what you do. That's where the liability comes in. You guys tell crap all the time that's BS. It's your whole goal. And you're the most divisive people in the world. But then she goes off. And this is just as much about the fact that viewership is elsewhere as it is whether or not this guy's the arbiter of truth, Joe Rogan.
We went from Walter Cronkite, basically, to this guy, Joe Rogan, who believes in dragons. I checked it. He believes in dragons? He believes in dragons.
Did you triple source that?
Yes, I did. And he also thinks that dragons, like dinosaur-y type of animals, roamed the earth when people did. So this is the type of really, really bad information that's going out there. It's possible that Donald Trump did roam the earth when dinosaurs were here.
I'm the same age as him, is what you should have said. Here's my thing, Joy. There are dragons. I think we know that. There's an island, actually, 3 of them, that host nothing but dragons. And it's called Komodo. But those aren't the dragons he was talking about. In the here's the thing that's great about Joey. He's funny. He's all of the things. He's curious, maybe the most interesting thing. He has people on from all walks of life. One of the things that was hilarious about it is when he was talking about dragons is, how is it that you can go back thousands of years with civilizations that have never met each other, and yet, and they don't have archaeologists, right? These are civilizations that are barely, above the knuckle dragging, if you will. Yet carvings, drawings have dragons. They're not putting together dinosaurs. They're not digging stuff up. And that was it. And she went with that. You're not the arbiter of truth because you don't want the actual truth. You don't want to see how things really play out. And it's just funny to listen to people, whether they're going to Blue Sky and this, even some of you here are texting in talking about how frustrated you are and how hilarious it is that people are running away. It's not. And they'll eventually come back because much like Threads and everything else, people get bored somewhere else. And eventually they want to know what the other side's doing. And it shouldn't be the other side. It shouldn't. But it is funny that some people think they're the arbiter of truth. And come on over here. It's nicer. It's kinder. It's gentler. We're going to tell you all the things you want to hear without having to have your beliefs challenged. Interesting indeed. All right. I am Chad Benson in for Matt, who will be in for Brian. So a lot of stuff still to get to. We're going to do the Volvo thing. If you guys have not seen the Volvo commercial, juxtapose that with the chaotic, crazy, I couldn't even believe Jaguar did this. Whoever did it needs to be fired. And if you thought for a second that Bud Light missed the mark, Jaguar may have driven over the mark it missed and continued to go. Talk about that, a lot of other stuff as well. Happy Friday. It's Super Talk 99.7. Rough Greens, ruffgreens.com/Chad. You guys are listening to me. You're like, who's this guy again? Let's say about Rough Greens. Rough Greens is a supplement you give your dog or cat. I have 2 dogs that are awesome, and I have a cat. It's actually my stepdaughter's cat. His name's Angus, a big fat cat, a very Scottish cat. Angus had the worst allergies ever, and we tried everything. And by everything, I mean, we were up to thousands of dollars trying to figure out why all of his hair had come out. He's scratching himself to death, essentially, and he had to wear a cone of shame. We started putting this on his food, and boom, slowly but surely, the itching went away. The fur started growing back. He's furry. He's happy. He's healthy. He's got the zoomies, as the kids would say. Rough Greens wants you to try it. It's got vitamins, minerals, probiotics, omega-3, 6, 9. So whether you have a dog or a cat, you can get Meow Greens or Rough Greens. And all you do is take this scoop it on top of their food. They'll love the taste. You'll love what it does for them. It is incredible. I swear by it with my animals, and I love my animals. Try a Jumpstart trial bag. It's a $20 value free. All you do is cover the cost of shipping. ruffgreens.com/Chad and use code Chad to save right there. That's ruffgreens.com. Use code Chad. You cover the cost of shipping. They get you a bag for free.
Dave Coulier and his battle.
A Metro traffic cop is hospitalized and the other driver has some explaining to do. We'll tell you what police say they could see after a car flipped last night, killing a teenager. And Matt Gaetz says he's done with Congress. That's all coming up at 1 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
All right, Bill, say his name for me. Morgan what? Wallen?
Wallen.
There you go. I am so bad at names, you have no idea.
Morgan Money Printer.
I became friends with the mayor of Yuma. His name's Doug Nichols. We did an interview with him when I was in Phoenix. We called him Nick Douglas, Doug Nicholson, Nick Nicholson. We had to call him back the next day and said, dude, we were on the air. We're like, we're so far. I'm so bad at names. Like my partner and I, because he kept putting it, because he's horrible. Then he put it in my mind that we're going to mess it up. And I'm awful with names. The other thing is, how's your little earphone thing?
It's good. Not a lot of high end, but it's still, I'm digging it.
So we've got IFBs. You can't, he has no head. So bells, whatever. What are you going to do with it? You know, but he's got it like in his pocket. So we've got these IFBs like we're newscasters.
Yeah.
And it's comfortable, which is really cool.
Very. And thank you again. It was very kind of you to get this for me.
But I got one of those emails that say, "Will you rate it for me?" And so I was like, "I'm going to ask Bell and see if does he like it." Should we give it 5 stars so far?
Give it 4.
Okay, 4 stars it is. 4 stars. I want to make sure that we do that. 4 stars. They're there. Coming up next hour, I want to talk about advertising in this wacky world and what happens when you live in an echo chamber itself, where you look around, because Jaguar and Volvo both have new ads out for vehicles. And I don't know why, because Jaguar doesn't have a car. They haven't produced a car in a couple of years. I don't even think they're selling them in some places. In fact, I think in Britain, they're no longer selling Jags right now, which is bizarre. We'll talk a bit about that. And this dad decided, hey, you guys voted for Trump. Let me tell you what we're going to do for you, which is just the tolerance of the left. Oh, my Lord. My name is Chad Benson. I am in for the one and only Matt Murphy will be in for Brian Wilson on this beautiful Friday right here on Super Talk 99.7.
I'm Ken Weaver with your top stories. Full forecast coming up in 5 minutes. Right now, a Metro traffic cop's in the hospital after a crash in Donaldson. Metro police say Officer Corey West is being treated at Vanderbilt Medical Center after his police motorcycle was hit from behind by an SUV at the intersection of Elm Hill Pike and McCrory Creek Road. The 63-year-old SUV driver does not have a license and is being charged via citation. We've learned the identity of a teenager killed in a crash last night. Metro police say 16-year-old Jamon Hurt died last night around 8:30 when the 2008 Toyota Sequoia he was driving went off the road and overturned. He was ejected on Springs Road near Butler Road. Police say there was no evidence of impairment. The driver's side rear tire had the steel belt showing and was blown out, but further investigation will be needed to determine if that was a contributing factor. Hurt was not wearing a seatbelt. One day after withdrawing from being U.S. Attorney General, former Florida Congressman Matt Gaetz says he's not going to rejoin Congress either. Gaetz announced it on the Charlie Kirk Show this morning.
I'm still going to be in the fight, but it's going to be from a new perch. I do not intend to join the 119th Congress. There are a number of fantastic Floridians who've stepped up to run for my seat.
President-elect Trump's new pick for Attorney General is former Florida Attorney General Pam Bondi. New York Judge Juan Merchan issuing a scheduling order today that delays President-elect Trump's November 26th sentencing date indefinitely for that hush money conviction. Aaron Katursky has more on what comes next.
This formalizes it. Notably, the judge did not set a new date for sentencing. Instead, he's going to allow Trump to file a motion to try to dismiss the case outright. Prosecutors are going to fight that. He told them the motion's got to be in by December 2nd. Prosecutors must respond by December 9th.
Sean Diddy Combs expected back in court in New York today. The music mogul's defense team making another case to get Combs out of jail on bail. He was jailed in September after being hit with several federal charges, including sex trafficking, which he denies. And in Texas, a new set of instructional material in Bible-based learning narrowly passed the State Board of Education today.
8-7, the motion passes. Bluebonnet will be added to the approved list.
The curriculum called Bluebonnet Learning was developed by the state, according to the Texas Education Agency. The lessons would be optional, that is, but districts can receive at least $40 per student for using state-approved materials. Supporters say that these religious texts are important for the historical context of U.S. history and can instill moral values, while critics say this violates the First Amendment right to freedom of religion for students and teachers. That's the latest news. Weather is next. I'm Ken Weaver, WTN News.
Don't suck when you're an advertiser. It's probably the easiest thing to do, right? Like know your audience. So if I was Rachel Maddow, I'm sure on the text line, people would not be happy. Would I be going, what happened here is Russia came and is best friends with Donald Trump and they're screwing America. You guys would freak out. You got to know your audience. Volvo knows their audience. Jaguar, or in this case, can we say Draguar, doesn't know their audience. I'm just going to play a snippet of their commercial. You won't hear anything but the music. That should be enough. This seems, there's no talking in the commercial. There is no Jaguar in the commercial. Not even the cat. There are androgynous people, mostly men, I think, wearing tutus and dresses that are pink and purple. And this is the rebranding of Jaguar. And that's why they call it Draguar. And some other things that you can't say on the radio because we'd get fired. That's not knowing your audience. And I'm always curious as to what were you thinking? Right? Like at some point, did you just go, was nobody in the room to go, hey, you guys know we're like supposed to be this cool, hip British car? You guys get that? Like guys drive this car so they can get chicks and it's kind of that's the thing. There was a movie that came out in 1990 called Crazy People. Don't get mad at me for saying that because some of you might go, oh, you're talking about mental illness. No, I'm not. It's starred Dudley Moore, great actor, passed away. God rest Dudley, played Arthur. And in the movie, he has a nervous breakdown. And he ends up in a place where, let's just say, they're crazy people. See the way that worked? Daryl Hannah's in it as well.
DNC?
The DNC is exactly it. He ended up in D.C. So he just had a nervous breakdown. And he's their creative guy for the advertising. They don't want to stop. They want him to continue to work. So he's going through and he's got all of his advertising stuff with him, you know, like the big case. And he lets some of the crazy people do the ads. Well, they come and they accidentally take the ads that they think are the ones he's worked on, and they're actually crazy people. And one of them is a Jaguar ad that says, Jaguar, for rich men who want to get by young women. Like, that's Jaguar. You know your audience, right? They didn't. You got essentially drag queen / androgynous people with no car in it to rebrand something that is already in the crapper. This is why James Bond drives an Aston Martin or a BMW.
You know what this whole thing reeks of is them realizing that their brand is associated with old, rich, white guys.
Oh, absolutely.
But eventually all those people are going to die, and they're like, where's our next generation of purchasers going to come from? Oh, let's make a commercial with drag queens. That'll get them.
Yeah, because they have all the money to go afford a Jaguar. By the way, they're not cheap. And so this is how bad they have gotten. They're not selling cars in Britain. They haven't for a year. They're going all EV because that's what you do now, while everybody else runs towards gas. Right? Everybody's like, let's get the gas because it doesn't suck. So while this is going on and you're missing the mark, you look at Volvo. Volvo's got a new, and you guys, I'm telling you, if you have a chance, go see it. It is a 3.5-minute commercial. It's like a mini movie. And it is incredible. It's the kind of thing that brings a tear to your eye because they know their audience.
Hey, love.
Hey, Mom.
How are you guys? How you doing?
Yeah, we're good.
Something wrong?
No, but we've actually got something to tell you. Kate's pregnant.
Oh, I'm just joking.
You're gonna be a grandma.
It starts out that way, and then Kate goes off to get something to eat. She's running to the store. And the entire time this commercial is going on, again, Volvo knowing their audience. Who's their audience? When you think of Volvo, you think of family car, you think sturdy, you think safe. Well, she goes down the stairs, you see a lady get into a new Volvo. It's an EV. Really cool looking. And the lady takes off like she's going to work. She's very high-powered. You could totally tell. She's got her briefcase and everything. Very high-powered.
Does this end with us finding out that the child was conceived in the Volvo?
No, but that would have been a good one. That would have been a good one. I don't think you can conceive anything in this Volvo. It's not one of those big ones because it's a European Volvo. And if you guys know anything about Europe, they have a lot of cars that we don't have and vice versa. And their cars are tiny because their streets are tiny. So while all this is going on, he's talking to his mom about, this is what we're going to name her. I know it's going to be a girl, and she's going to go through ups and downs in life, and we're going to have fights, and she's going to fall in love and have her heart broken. And you see these things, kind of these images going across, and you see the lady go, and she gets herself, something to eat at the corner market, and you see this other lady driving this car, and he's discussing all of these things with his mother. And how one day he's going to have to let her go, but he wants to be there, and he wants to be a grandpa one day, and he wants to walk her down the aisle and all of these things. And she goes to cross the street, and the lady looks down for a second, and then she looks up and she slams on the brakes, and her eyes get wide. And then it goes black, and then it goes to a hospital. And the guy is drinking some water, and he turns around and he walks into the room, and there is the girlfriend with their baby. And the thing goes, the Volvo recognized somebody was in front of it and slams on its brake. And why it matters is because you recognized who your audience is. Drag queens are not your audience. Androgynous teenagers are not your audience. And you failed to listen. It's the same thing like with the DNC. Why did they lose this last election? They didn't know who their audience was. They thought their audience was academia, rich elites who could talk down and over everybody and essentially command them to go vote against somebody, not for something, but against somebody that they didn't like. You got to know your audience. It was just go look at the Volvo, but go look at the Jaguar. Go find the Jaguar ad and just tell me how horrible it is. It looks like one of those commercials that if you've ever seen a perfume commercial where like Johnny Depp's playing a guitar on a desert somewhere in front of a scorpion that he thinks is listening to him, and then then you'll see a wolf howl, and then up pops Chanel. That's what it looks like. And this is a Jaguar commercial. It is so off-brand, but this is what I'm talking about. If you don't understand your audience, and that includes Hollywood and everywhere else, you mess up. Who is there saying, what the hell are you guys doing? How did anybody like, here he goes.
They actually use the words copy nothing in this ad.
But is that the worst? Come on. Would you have known what that is had they not said Jaguar?
No, actually, if I did not know about the rebrand with the new logo, I would not have even assumed it was the car Jaguar.
Because there is no car. There's a drag queen holding a sledgehammer.
Well, they all do that.
Yeah, well, of course. You know your audience. They didn't know their audience. And it is so sad when you watch people. And it's like the same thing I say, with people in Hollywood. It's like you get stuck in this world where you've got 20 people in the room and you're making a movie or a television show for everybody. And what do? You do a show for you. You don't do a show for you. You make a show for everybody. You're not the audience. Because most of those people, what do? They go, they ruin memories, they take stuff, and they're like, hey, you know what? We have our first trans stormtrooper. How would I know? Right? Don't they just wear the white uniform? Is there a special one? Know your audience. And
I love that the last shot in the commercial is their new logo over what could basically be a beam down point for the original Star Trek.
Yeah.
Because it looks like an empty, dead planet.
It is. It is so... It's just, I'm surprised that people get, like, somebody greenlit that. And there was nobody, do you know what my thing is? There's nobody in the room to go, you know what, guys? I don't think this fits our brand.
Or there actually was somebody, and they went, shut up, we're ignoring you.
Oh, some of you guys are, some of the texts are, not worthy of air, but hilarious. One person said, the Volvo, it's boxy, but it's good. Yes, very much so. Thought stormtroopers were trans. Yeah, that was funny. The Jaguar commercial reminds me of the movie Zoolander. That's a good thing right there. It's that kind of wackiness in this thing. And I'm always fascinated by the psychology of somebody saying this is a good idea. What do you have? You have a 25-year-old fresh out of college who thinks this is a good idea because their friends think it's a good idea, and they're trying to make art when you should be trying to sell cars. That's the goal. Same thing with politics. I've always said this, it's like some people earlier said something because they didn't think I was a big supporter of Gates. It's not that, although I'm not a fan of him. That's a personal thing between him and I. The reality is I like winning. Winning is the only thing that matters in situations like this. And who is the audience you're going for? The Democrats failed because they have no idea what their audience is. And to this day, they're still trying to figure it out. The elites think they didn't kiss up enough. They didn't scare enough. The progressives didn't think you went progressive enough. You didn't go Bernie enough. They're fighting amongst each other all the while everybody else is going, it's not that hard. We want lower food prices. We want the opportunity to get ahead. We want a border that's secure. We don't want you to tell us because she has a thing, wink, wink, nudge, nudge, oh, ain't her, that's a woman, because it's not. It's common sense. And the one thing I've learned in this business for all the years I've been in, 30 of them, common sense ain't common, baby. It's not as common as you think. It's crazy. Oh, man, so much stuff still to get to. This dad, we're going to talk about it. Here's a perfect example of lunacy that's out there. And when I play this for you, it was on Reddit, of course, and this was a dad, and a guy reads this big, long thing that this dad did to his kids. And it's dividing the internet. Well, there's a lot of things in this that is wrong. It is crazy, some of this stuff, but it shouldn't divide the internet. But we do that. Speaking of the internet, I want to jump to this really quick. I know you have no head, but when you had a head, you had hair. John Stamos, did you see what he did?
Played for the Beach Boys.
So Dave Coulier.
Good friends with Brian Williams.
So Dave Coulier has cancer. So he went out there to shave his head. He said, come on out here. We'll do something. We'll raise awareness. Let's spend some time together. So he goes out there, and Uncle Jesse shaves his head. He shows up in a bald cap. And everybody on the internet's blasting him.
Stamos does?
What?
Stamos shows up in a bald cap?
Yeah.
Okay.
Everybody out there in the internet world is mad at him because he didn't shave his head. First of all, his hair's beautiful. Secondly, he went out there for his buddy. His buddy knew he was going to be in a bald cap. They had a good time with it. It shows you how insane, though, the web is. Because, people are like, you've hurt my feelings. How have I hurt your feelings? Because I'm in a bald cap. By the way, one of the reasons he said he didn't shave his head is because he starts a new TV show next week, and he's got to have his hair for it because that's what they cast him for. They only cast his hair.
And that's probably in the contract that he can't make changes like that without the producer's permission.
Exactly. Yeah. So but watching people lose their mind over the dumbest things. Good God. What is wrong with you people? A lot of stuff to jump to, but we're going to talk about a father coming up in a minute that is just insane. And would you do this to your kids? You can reach out to us on the text line. What's the text number? I don't even know.
It's the same as the 737-9986.
There you go. See, I wouldn't even know that yet. It's not
615-737-9986.
Thank you. See, he gets it. He gets it. All right. So I'm Chad Benson in for the one and only Matt Murphy. It is Super Talk 99.7. All right. Sports and Programs brought to you by BetterHelp. And let me tell you something about BetterHelp. It's therapy. It's online. Maybe you got some people out there that you're having troubles. Maybe it's your family as we get towards the Thanksgiving week. How to deal with them. It's good to have a conversation with people. There's nothing wrong with that. And for some people out there, you might want to help maybe your family deal with the fact that maybe politically you guys aren't in the same place and they don't even want to hang out with you. Oh, my God, or vice versa. Maybe seek some help. Conversation. Somebody talk to. How would I deal with stuff? Maybe you just got pent up anger because you know what? We fight all the time. Families can do that to you. And it's grateful to have an opportunity to be able to sit down with somebody, and BetterHelp can help you with that. It's designed for your convenience. Everything's done online. You fill out a small questionnaire. You get placed with a licensed therapist. It's so simple and easy to do. And It really is. I've had several people that have come to me and said, man, this is really cool. So try it for yourself. Save 10% on your first month. Go to BetterHelp.com/Benson. That's BetterHelp.com/Benson. BetterHelp.com/Benson.
Well, the House Oversight Committee is digging deeper into FEMA agents skipping Trump supporters during hurricane response. I've got that and more for you coming up at 1:30 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Pam Bondi. Pam Bondi. It's going to be the AG. Well, she's been nominated by the Trumpster. I think it's a good nomination, and just because it is. I mean, she's solid. She gets it done. That's what you want. It's unfortunate that we've gotten to this point. It's like where it's because Matt Gaetz didn't get it, that somehow that she's going to be, well, she was second choice. Quite frankly, I think she was first choice. I think the thing with Matt Gaetz, there was a lot more to it. And some people out there like him. Some people don't. Some people in the party. Some people even in MAGA world don't like him. For me, I've spent time with him down at the border. I'm not always the biggest fan of him. We've had a run in or two. That being said, I think he's a smart guy. He's going to land on his feet somewhere. And I think Pam Bondi is exactly what they need in the sense of her cruising through and crushing it when it comes to being confirmed.
Yeah, if they come after her now, it's going to look like, okay, you're just never happy. We gave you this guy. You said he was absolutely unqualified. He withdraws. Now we give you somebody who has actually been an AG for an entire state, and you're going to complain about her? Okay, so you're just here to complain.
That's what the opposition party is all about now. If you go back, this is how crazy that at the time that we live in, how divided we are. Go back and look in the 80s, 90s, even early 2000s, when they confirmed even justices. It was 80, 86. I mean, it was, yeah. Because now it's all based on politics, right? The reality is it should be based on, are you qualified to do the job? Not the politics, because the side that nominated me, well, that's the political side I'm on for the most part. Now it's, I've got to be seen as standing against you. When in reality is, are you capable of doing the job? Do you meet and fill all of the boxes? Check them here, there, for the job. Not whether or not you believe in what I believe politically. Can I do the job of which I've been nominated for? So I would, look, here's the thing. Would I have liked to see Matt get a shot at a hearing? Yes. I don't know what that would have looked like. It would have been chaos. I'm not quite sure, how much scrutiny he wanted. Where she is, the only thing that they talk about with her is, and it's something that, New York Times came out within 5 minutes. It was, did you guys know what happened a few years ago? She was going to investigate Trump University. And then the next week she didn't. And because she didn't is because Trump organization gave $25,000 to a PAC she supported. Like, that's the best you have on her? You don't have anything else? Well, they're digging. They're going to find everything. And that's the one thing about politics, why people don't want to go into politics. And it's weird. Each side demands perfection from the other side, yet the higher you go in politics, the brighter the lights are. The brighter the lights are, the more dirt you see. That's the greatest disinfectant right there. And I'm sure we're going to get past this point of looking for perfection probably in the next decade, because how many kids out there are in their teens and 20s who are going to run for office that, let's be real, because of the internet and because of every word they've ever said has been posted, has been tweeted, you're going to run out of people eventually, unless we're going to have AI or robots running everything, which is a possibility. Did you see AI Jesus in Switzerland?
No.
So you can go to a confessional now in Switzerland, and you can go confess to an AI Jesus.
Oh, and the priest just checks it out later and sees what you said. And
no, I think the
AI absolves you of your sins.
Yeah. Nice. Yeah, it speaks 100 languages, and it is supposed to absolve you, kind of thing. And their whole thing was the priest and a bunch of other people inside of the church, they were in on it. It wasn't like something weird, but it's just so weird. But maybe that's it. Maybe we're just going to have AI leaders, or when the aliens eventually get here and take over, which is going to be awesome. I can't wait for that.
They're already here.
I know they're already here. Good God. Have you seen that commercial from, Jaguar? Some of them look like aliens.
You ain't kidding.
Somebody said the commercial for Jaguar looks like a Teletubbies commercial.
Well, with all the pastels and everything, there's no way to not draw that conclusion.
They have a podcast now. Do you know that?
The Teletubbies do?
What are the Teletubbies talking about?
I don't know, Tinky Winky coming out of the closet?
Yeah, those closets, they may have been there, but those doors weren't closed. I think we all understood that on those things. If you've known nothing about the Teletubbies.
I'm just embarrassed that I know the name Tinky Winky.
So when I was in England, they filmed it over there. And we went to one of the studios, and we got onto the place where the Teletubbies filmed. They weren't there, and we were running around. It was so awesome, because it's just like a giant, huge, carpeted playground that is wacky. There was no Teletubbies harmed in the making of my fun that day, though.
There should have been.
There should have been, indeed. No, I would never hurt a Teletubby, for God's sakes. I'm a grown man. I'm Chad Benson, in for Matt Murphy. Coming up on Super Talk, we're going to talk a little bit about the dad of the year, some people are saying. Other people saying he's not a nice man. We will discuss that. A lot of other stuff. Chad Benson, in for Matt Murphy on the Matt Murphy Show, Super Talk 99.7.
1:30 on the dot. I'm Ken Weaver with your top stories. Got the full forecast in 5 minutes. Well, the House Oversight Committee digging deeper into FEMA agents intentionally skipping Trump supporters during hurricane response in Florida. The Daily Wire says Chairman James Comer demanding more specific information on FEMA's avoidance policies in a letter to Director Deanne Criswell after another whistleblower's come forward about a similar situation in Georgia. Comer wrote the whistleblower told the committee that a FEMA contractor warned a disabled veteran's family in Georgia to remove Trump campaign materials from their home because FEMA supervisors viewed Trump supporters as domestic terrorists. Criswell has until December 6th to respond, according to Comer's letter. And the U.S. Supreme Court allowing a multi-billion-dollar class action lawsuit against Facebook parent company Meta. Here's Sherry Preston.
Meta's already paid a $5 billion fine and reached a $725 million privacy settlement with Facebook users over their personal information being compromised by Cambridge Analytica, the firm that supported Donald Trump's 2016 presidential campaign. But Meta investors say they were also hurt by the drop in Facebook's stock price after the scandal was disclosed. Meta tried to get the Supreme Court to shut down the lawsuit. Justices said they'd allow it to proceed.
Texas education officials have approved the inclusion of religious stories in public school curricula. Here is Jim Ryan.
The vote by the Texas State Board of Education followed days of debate and refinements from the publishers of a teaching package called Bluebonnet. Critics say the materials refer to Christian Bible stories at the exclusion of other religions. The state school board, which has drifted to the right in recent years, has approved the curriculum for kindergarten through fifth grade starting in the 2025-26 school year.
Here in Nashville, Metro Police say the steel belt of one of the tires was showing and there was a blowout, but more investigations needed to determine if it's a factor in a deadly crash last night on Smith Springs Road near Butler Road. 16-year-old Jamon Hurt was driving a 2008 Toyota Sakota when police say it left the road and overturned. Hurt was rushed to the hospital where he died. Police say there's no sign he was drunk or high, but he wasn't wearing a seatbelt. That's the latest news. Weather's next. I'm Ken Weaver, WTN News.
Fair warning.
At $5 million for the banana, here it is. Only at Sotheby's. These are words I'd never thought I'd say. $5 million for a banana.
That is a piece of art that's sold. And you heard me right, kids. It's a banana. And I go in there and I go, Bill, did you hear about the banana that sold? He's like, yeah, that was like 4 years ago. I said, no, it sold yesterday. It sold originally for $120,000. Some idiot bought it. Now, we're the idiots because it sold at Sotheby's yesterday to a crypto guy from China who's obviously laundering money.
I'm not the idiot. You're the idiot. I've got a piece of duct tape with some lima beans stuck to it that I'll sell you for $500,000.
Yes, I was getting ready to say, I've got an apple.
It's the banana, guys, all right? It's very important. All right? Kenyon there, you Mr. from the cheap seats talking about that. You're not buying no banana for $5 million.
No.
So,
no.
Look, this piece of duct tape has 2 lima beans stuck to it. That's $250,000 a lima bean. I am giving you a discount.
Now, if you told me you have those beans that are magical, that go in the air,
I'm not saying they aren't.
Maybe I buy those beans. Maybe I don't. So, if you guys don't know what this, he's a art guy, but he's a Italian comedian. He taped a banana to a wall with duct tape. It sold originally for like $120,000 to somebody out of Miami. And it sold yesterday at Sotheby's for the total was $6.2 million. The guy who bought it is going to eat the banana. And everybody's like, what? Well, this is not the first banana. There's been a few bananas because once it rots, they add a new banana because you couldn't do that on your own. I could do that and say I bought it and nobody would know. Except for the fact that I don't live in a house where it looks like I could afford a $5.2 million banana. I'm like, is there $6 million of heroin in the banana? Why is this banana worth so much? There's none of that stuff. But art is great if you want to hide money. It's the only thing I could think of. Like, that is it. Like, who else buys art? People who want to what? You're just washing money. That's all you're doing. You're not doing anything else. I mean, you're not. It's 6.2. It's not a Banksy, right? It's a banana.
I don't like this segment at all because it's really impugning my ability to get my $500,000 for my lima beans.
Is that all you're asking for him?
Hey, I am a discount brokerage here, sir. I am not Sotheby's. I'm not going to stick you.
Now, do lima beans go bad? Because they start out bad in my mind, but do they go bad?
No, you're exactly right. They don't go bad because they start that way. Okay. So there's no place to go.
Good times.
They have butter on them?
Yeah. I don't know. You got to see a horrible look, I think, from Bell.
Yeah, I'm supposed to put butter on lima beans. Like that's not going to stop them from sticking to the duct tape anymore. He thinks he's an art critic.
Thinks he's an art guy. Anybody? There was a. I don't know if you guys have seen the post. There was a guy who. This was hilarious. This shows you what art is, right? Because art is whatever you're willing to pay for. It's what it's worth. And to the eye, beauty is in the eye of the beholder. A guy went to an art place in Miami, like one of the big gallery opens, and he brought one of his old shoes and he just set it in the middle of the floor and he watched people walk around it and take pictures of it like it was art.
That's awesome.
Wait a minute. Were there like any fruits in the shoe?
No, there was no fruit. There was no fruits were harmed in this. It was his old basketball shoe from like when he played basketball at the Y.
Are you sure it didn't have some almonds in it? Could have had almonds, maybe some pecans. We don't know.
No, we don't. Could have had your lima beans.
That could have been a $6 million shoe.
Might have had corn.
Might have had corn. Somebody says with the banana art from Hunter Biden. He wishes. Somebody said, when does blue cheese go bad and how do you know? I have no idea. Isn't it start out bad too?
I think it is bad from the get-go.
Yeah. Smells like feet. A lot of cheese smells like feet.
Yeah, it's terrible, but it's so good.
It is so good. So, only with things like chicken wings.
Chicken wings and pizza.
That's it. Nothing else. This dad, is he the dad of the year? I'm thinking no. So we just had a very contentious election. And some people, mostly on the left, not happy with things. Very upset, very angry. His dad confronted his kids, joking, who'd you vote for, sons?
Am I the ass?
So I just want to say, this is a guy reading the dad's response because it was on the old Reddit, as we all know.
Am I the ass for cutting off my sons financially
after they voted for Trump.
Yes.
52 male, have 2 sons, Isaac, 22 male, and John, 20 male.
First of all, why are you paying for your sons for anything? 22 and 20? I was well out of the house, and that was one of my big questions right there, first off the bat. The 22-year-old especially, maybe the 20-year-old, but okay, continue, sir.
My wife and I have always leaned left politically, and we've raised our kids to value equality, compassion, and critical thinking. So you can imagine my shock when I found out after this last election that both of my sons voted for Trump.
What? Yeah, they both voted for Trump. Oh, my God. So mom and dad, this is what I love. Mom and dad lean left. Mom and dad want them to be open-minded and thinking for themselves. So, and by that we mean do what we say.
Their mom and I lean left, meaning that you are a raging progressive.
That's it. When you say lean left, because you just have to, the minute he says critical thinking and like diversity and inclusiveness, you've lost me, sir. You've lost me.
So, who'd you guys vote for? Expecting them to either dodge the question or name one of the candidates aligned with our values. Isaac shrugged and said, Trump. His policies just make the most sense right now. John chimed in, yeah, I mean, he's about protecting the economy. People like us need someone who gets that. I stared at them, stunned. People like us? I asked. Boy, you've never paid for a single tank of gas, let alone rent or tuition. What exactly do you mean by that?
Whose fault is that?
Isaac rolled his eyes. Dad, I'm studying business. Trump's pro-business. It's not that deep.
It isn't that deep. He is pro-business. I think we recognize that. Right? He's pro-business. That's true. Your kids are in business school. When you go to colleges, if you were to say, where are the conservatives on the college? They would point to the business section. That's the only place you're going to find it. And even there, it's not 100%, but you will find at least in most colleges, you will find what small infinitesimal group of people that may be conservative or at least open about it will be in the business. So you sent your kids to business college. What did you expect they were going to do? You didn't send them to nonprofit. You sent them to a business school.
If you want to support Trump's policies, you should also live by them, I said. From now on, you'll need to cover your own tuition, rent, and living expenses. Maybe then you'll understand the real-world impact of the policies you are endorsing. Isaac was furious. Are you serious, Dad? You're just cutting us off because we disagree with you politically. It's not about disagreement, I said firmly. It's about accountability. You voted for someone who's against student loan forgiveness, so take out loans. You support someone who doesn't believe in raising the minimum wage, so get a job that pays what it pays and figure it out.
Two things there. First of all, student loans, unconstitutional. And the minute why we're not a democracy is for things like that. Because the minute you can, and people say we are a democracy, we're a representative republic. But the minute you can get to the place where you can start to essentially say, I'm going to give you everything you want, it's over at that point in time. They were never going to get student loan forgiveness through. It's just never going to happen because it's not constitutional. What's next? I'm going to give everybody who's got car payments, I'm going to take those away. Anybody who's got a house payments. Again, it's not constitutional. And minimum wage is the dumbest thing in the world. Nobody was meant to raise a family on minimum wage. It's minimum wage. It's a starting point.
I love the way they always discount the fact, too, that and they don't see these people, so it's easy for them to do that. But if you're not able to produce more than you cost, you're not going to be hired.
No.
So what they say is, okay, you're what's minimum wage? $7.25.
Yeah,
you're going to make $7.25 an hour. Well, they're not going to make anything if they don't get hired.
Yeah.
And what you've done is price them out of the market because they're either too young, too unskilled, and your idea is it's better for them to make zero than not, or make nothing instead of $7 or $5.
It's, coming from a place like California where they continue to up the wage of insanity, You think about it, it's supposed to be a starting point. It's not supposed to be an ending point. You're not supposed to raise a family of 4 on it. And the thing that always makes me laugh is, like Belch just said, that was just perfect, is you're going to cost me $15 an hour at this point in time or whatever, because I have to take somebody off who's making money to train you. So I'm losing their productivity. You're not productive. As you grow, it's a starting point, but that's what you do. It's your first job. If you're 37 and you're only making minimum wage, I think we can all agree you've probably made some life choices that weren't solid. Right? Can we get? It's like the people, if you're in your 20s or 30s and you're not a professional BMX bike rider and you only have a BMX bike as your mode of transportation, I'm going to go out on a limb and say, probably made some life choices that weren't great. Bell, I know you ride a bike, Bell. It's different, though.
No, it's electric, though.
It's different.
You know what I love is when these progressives get into this whole mode of free health care and universal health care and government-provided health care. You want the same morons that have put us $36 trillion in debt to run your health care.
Yeah.
I don't think you thought this one through.
No, they don't think anything through. And trust me, I've been through socialized medicine. Maybe we'll talk about that. The insanity of it and how, you know what's really weird? It's a little bit more expensive than I thought free was going to be. That's all I'm saying. Finally, one more from Pops.
John looked hurt. You're being petty. This isn't how you change someone's mind. This isn't about changing your mind, I replied. It's about giving you a dose of reality. FAFO ain't just some cool hashtag you and your little friends use. It means there are consequences to your actions. Political choices have consequences. You're adults now. It's time to act like it. You around with your vote, now it's time you found out. They made a choice, now they'll learn what that choice means.
That's fine. That's good. They made a choice. Let them make the choice. That's great. But your whole goal was, rather than to say, I disagree with you, it was, I'm going to hold all the things we promised you hostage because you didn't vote the way I wanted you to vote. And there's probably a very good chance the state that they were in probably went a little left. They're probably a little California, somewhere like that. Just so insane. It is. And, people say, well, I've got kids. What if one of them was liberal? Liberal. My oldest one's 16. She can't vote. She's pretty liberal. I'm okay with that. I love her. I don't care. You make up your own minds. The whole thing is I want to give you, empower you. But my 13-year-old and my son, don't tell his mother. My son is, because his mom is way liberal. But like super liberal. But he's like, quietly, hey, Dad, check it out. MAGA, he'll send me stuff and start laughing. But my 13-year-old stepdaughter, she is so conservative, it is crazy. She jokes, I'm a libertarian, but you're 13, you're nothing. You're supposed to be. I want my kids to be free thinking. I want to show them this is what I think is right. This is what I know is right. This is what the world is like, and let them make their decisions. But if they make a decision based on the facts that they feel are right, and even if you show them stuff, I'm not going to cut them out of their life or be mad at them. Because the whole thing is I raised them. And obviously, they looked up and said, Dad, you're a loser. I don't want to live like you do. I don't know if they said that. Why are you paying for their school? Right? Why are you paying for the damn? They're 20 and 25. Kick them out. Oh, my Lord. I'm Chad Benson in for Matt Murphy. Will be in for Brian. A lot of stuff still to get to in this amazing Friday. Right? What do you guys normally do on Friday here, Bella? What's the big thing you guys do? Dance party?
No. Fridays normally during Matt's show would be like Friday.
Oh, yeah.
When Jay St. Clair comes on and I play some drops that annoy Matt, and then he yells at me and tells me to not open the mic anymore and stuff like that.
All right, cool. So we won't be doing any of that, though. Just let you guys know.
No,
although I will
that's
answer
all Matt
some
stuff.
You guys can call in, and I'm kidding. Don't call, because no. Chad Benson for Matt Murphy, Super Talk 99.7. Oh, my Lord. Rough greens. I love animals. I got 2 little dogs. They drive me crazy, Bowie and Red. But they're healthy. as can be. And it's awesome. And it's thanks to Rough Greens. We don't give them super expensive food. It is a powdered formula supplement. You sprinkle it right on top of your dog's food. They love the taste of it. Now we got meow greens for my kitty. His name's Angus, big, giant, fat cat. Got allergies like you could not believe. And this has helped in more ways than you could even know. It's like he looks like a chia pet. His hair grew back. It was amazing. This is a supplement. It's got vitamins, minerals, probiotics, omega-3, 6, 9. It's living. It's got enzymes in it. And it is a powdered formula you put right on top of your dog or cat's food. Dog food is dead food. Cat food is dead food. It is shelf stable. It's not meant to be living. This is going to help your dog and cat's food tremendously. You can try a Jumpstart trial bag. It's a $20 value. You can get it for free. All they ask you to do is cover the cost of shipping. It is truly that simple. You can do that by going to roughgreens.com. That's ruffgreens.com. When you do, use my code CHAD. They'll send it to you. Try it. Don't change a thing with their food. You don't have to do anything crazy. Just sprinkle this on top of it. ruffgreens.com. Use code CHAD to get a Jumpstart trial bag for free. Roughgreens.com, code CHAD.
No clue on how many shoplifting
TDOT showing stop-and-go traffic on 24 eastbound in Jolton. We had a car versus train, and the outcome is deadly. Not in Jolton, but elsewhere in Middle Tennessee. We'll tell you about that coming up at 2 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Car versus train. It's an interesting one. Not quite sure how that happens. I mean, I know how it happens, but, like, how?
Yeah.
There's like, you sit there and you go, is that suicide? Is that kids being stupid? I mean, it's, if you've never seen what a train could do to people, don't look it up.
Probably a fan of the station, and they were just like, let's screw up 24 so Ken will be mad.
Is that what it is?
And they did it in the wrong place.
Well, it didn't happen on 24.
That's what I'm saying. They did it in the wrong place.
Oh, I got you. Yeah.
Man, my goodness me. It's... You do wonder, right? Like with people and what happens. See Ken in there shaking his head, know? Sometimes I often think, what the hell were you thinking?
I've covered a few of those.
Yeah.
And you're right.
It
is not pretty.
Yeah, no, it's not. Coming up, a lot of stuff to get to next hour. Talk a little immigration. We'll talk a little TikTok because for whatever reason, people think this is the place where you put stuff that you've done criminally out there. Super Talk 99.7.
2 o'clock on the dot. I'm Ken Weaver with your top stories. Got the full forecast in 5 minutes, and we just learned someone was killed when a train hit a vehicle in Portland. That's happening on Butler Road near Fountainhead Road around noon today. News 2 says the Highway Patrol is on the scene investigating. In his first interview since bowing out of consideration for Attorney General, Matt Gaetz says he does not intend to join the next Congress. Chuck Severson tells us.
Matt Gaetz.
I'm going to be fighting for President Trump.
But telling conservative podcaster Charlie Kirk.
8 years is probably enough time in the United States Congress.
Blaming lawmakers upset over a House Speaker's ouster.
They didn't like me because of what I did to Kevin McCarthy.
Of the drug and sex allegations, giving credit to the Justice Department.
Those allegations were coming from sources that Merrick Garland's DOJ had already deemed not credible.
That being Attorney General Garland.
Gaetz leaves his old seat vacant to be filled by a special election. New York Judge Juan Merchan issuing a scheduling order today that delays President-elect Donald Trump's November 26th sentencing date indefinitely for his hush money conviction. The order also gives Trump's legal team the chance to dismiss the charges entirely, something Aaron Katersky says will be a fight with prosecutors.
The way the defense sees it, Trump should be treated as president-elect like a sitting president who can't be involved in any part of the criminal justice system. And prosecutors are saying, wait a second, the jury has spoken. They've already decided he's guilty. This was before he was elected. And so they think that the case should linger.
Texas education officials have approved the inclusion of religious stories in public school curricula. Jim Ryan reports from Dallas.
The vote by the Texas State Board of Education followed days of debate and refinements from the publishers of a teaching package called Bluebonnet. Critics say the materials refer to Christian Bible stories at the exclusion of other religions. The state school board, which has drifted to the right in recent years, has approved the curriculum for kindergarten through fifth grade starting in the 2025-26 school year.
Here in Nashville, Metro Police say a blown tire could be a factor in a crash that killed a teenager last night on Smith Springs Road near Butler Road. 16-year-old Jamon Hurt was driving a 2008 Toyota Sequoia when police said it ran off the road and overturned. He was ejected. Police say he was not wearing a seatbelt. They say there's no evidence of impairment, but the driver's side rear tire had the steel belt showing and was blown out. Still going to take further investigation to determine whether that was the contributing factor to the crash. Elsewhere in Nashville, the family's looking for a new school for their teenager.
A student at Montgomery Bell Academy in Nashville has been kicked out after a swastika was reportedly painted near this football stadium before a home game. The private school, where Nashville Mayor Freddie O'Connell once attended, won't say how they know which student painted the anti-Semitic symbol, but it does say it was scrubbed away immediately. Joan Jones, WTN News.
That is the latest news. Weather is next. I'm Ken Weaver, WTN News.
You like the dance there, Bill?
That was all on camera, dude.
I don't care.
That's going to become a reposted meme.
I'm fine with that. I would stand up. I was like, just telling you, I was like, man, I want to, because during my national show, I go up and down. I've got one of those desks that goes up and down. And it's, and I like to, because I'm, move around. And obviously not here. Like this is it. So I got to get my groove
We have
on.
you on a short leash, sir.
Yes, I know that. Good God. Matt Gaetz, gone. Out. Matt, no more. Introducing Bondi. Bam. Bondi. It's a funny name, by the way, when you think about it. Pam Bondi. She's bonding and Bondi with everybody. She's going to be the newest and latest when it comes to the AG. She's been a AG in Florida, which is awesome. She has been a prosecutor for 18 years, which I think people leave that out and the importance of that, because when you're top cop, the whole thing is you're top cop, but you're also top prosecutor. So it's all of the things. And she's going to be that. And everybody's like, oh, she is a person that will be loyal to Trump, or is she a person that's evil? Which is always my thing. Who's not loyal to the person who picks you, right? You're only going to pick somebody that you think is going to row the same direction you are.
You're also forgetting that she's a female, so you can't criticize her. That's not allowed. She's only going to be the second female attorney general ever, so that gives her a lot of leeway. But it's a woman, so there's no criticisms allowed. This is what the left has taught us.
Yeah, you can't criticize. I mean, they've already criticized her because of.
But see, that's wrong though. We've got to push back on that.
We must believe all women.
Yes,
including Pam Bondi, who, by the way, if you've seen her, she's 60 but doesn't look 60. I don't know what she does.
Oh, she doesn't look close to her age.
Isn't it weird when
she's
you
50?
Look?
She's 59. She's about to be 60. Doesn't look close to her age.
She looks maybe early 40s.
Yeah.
Yeah. And the hands too, because that's a dead giveaway. Because sometimes people get lifted, and you go look at the hands and go, I know you. I know those hips. You're such a jerk, Chad.
Just all of our liberal friends, remember, she's a female, so you can't criticize her.
You can criticize anybody. That's the beauty of America. That's the beauty of what we have here is our free speech. So she's gonna do a hell of a job. She is a person who is quite she's one of those people. I'm gonna say she's above reproach because nobody's above. There was one person who was above reproach. We saw how that ended here on Earth. The reality is, though, if you are the Democrats, and Bell said this earlier, it's like, what are you going to go after for? There isn't a lot. She's had the job. Even the Democrats have come out and said, this one is kind of tough. And remember, during the whole confirmation process isn't about your politics. Because we're at the point now where long ago, if you go back and look at if you're boring or weird like me, go watch old confirmation hearings. What are they? Can you do the job? Tell us about why you ruled on this. Tell us what you did here. Why would you do that? What would you do in a situation like this if you had position A, position B, whatever it is? And that right there is what it was all about originally. Was you've been nominated. Do you understand what you're getting yourself into? Do you understand the rules of the game, if you will? And then are you capable of handling these duties? Not, do you lean right or left? Do you have an agenda? How would you? It's none of those things. And it should be just based on, can you do the job? But with Trump, that's never that way. It doesn't matter, by the way. With Trump, none of that stuff matters. And so they're going to fight back with her as much as they can, but I don't think they're going to get a lot. And I think this one will go through rather quickly. I don't think they're going to give a lot of stuff to Marco Rubio because I think one of the things about Marco is he was a senator. And even people like John Fetterman's like, I like Marco. I think he's a good guy. We may differ on some things, but, you're not going to get that kind of pushback. You'll get pushback with some stuff. Pete Hegseth, you're going to get some pushback there, and they're going to try to expose him, as this guy who did something to a woman. I don't know what the deal is. Let me tell you how much I don't know what the deal is. I wasn't there, and you weren't either. She got paid money at a time where we can be honest, the Me Too movement was going on. If you look at the police report, I've read a decent amount of it. One thing that stood out to me is the people that were interviewed said her and another girl were flirting big time with him. Neither of them seemed to be drunk. They left arm in arm, and the cameras caught that. And one thing that's never talked about when they bring it up on any of these other shows is her husband was looking for her. So that's a narrative right there that's a little bit different. Your husband's looking for you. Interesting. Which makes me feel like you maybe were doing something with a guy that you thought was cute, and your husband that was also at the place that you were at was worried about you at 4 a.m. because you were at a bar in a hotel. I'm not saying that he didn't do something, but let's be real for a second. There's a lot of people who have paid things to go away. And I'm not talking about Donald Trump, because obviously that didn't go away. But there's a lot of people that have paid to have stuff go away. And I'm talking about major stars. Like Diddy's trying to do that now, but that isn't going to happen. Is any news on that, Ken? Has he been? Is there? When are they meeting? Isn't that
sometime today? Is all I'm seeing, Brother Chad. So I'm still waiting on how that goes down.
Yeah, they're not letting him out. So, but no matter how much money he's got, he went with intimidation, kind of like Lance Armstrong did. But a lot of people just pay stuff to go away. They know it's not true, but the thought is $300,000. She goes away, or it costs you $1 million to fight it. I don't know how much he paid. It could have been $50. And then it gets out there, and you're going to be always forever known as this. Okay, so I'll pay it to go away. Same thing with, like, how many of you, and I'm sure several of you on the text line, you probably had a company and somebody sued you, and you didn't do it, but the reality was simply, hey, you can pay them $20,000 to go away, or it'll cost you $200,000 to defend it. So, which would you rather do? Some people, and I remember Elton John did this, and he was after the Michael Jackson stuff had broke about, the kid stuff. And Elton John said, once that stuff broke, I would never have paid those people a penny. If I didn't do it, I would fight and go broke fighting it. Well, it's already out. So, that's a big deal. It's already out, but yeah, I would have as well. But in this situation like this is what they're going to bring up. He doesn't have the experience, but nobody has the experience. That's one of the things they brought up about Pam Bondi, who's out there, is her experience as AG is far and away bigger and stronger than the last 20, 30, 40 years of people that have become AG. Because she's been an AG of a state, a big state, and she's won. Because one of the things about AG, not only are you a top cop of your state, you're also defending your state from overreach of the federal government. And she did that amazingly well. Whether it came to what was going on in the schools there and immigration, she fought hard and she won. Because in today's world of politics, and I always talk about, a buddy of mine is an expert in Obamacare stuff. And he studied it for years and worked at all the big think tanks. And he said, people don't realize this. Obamacare was never written to be health care. It was written as a law to withstand all kinds of court cases. And that's what you do. These things that she has done in the past and the defending of her state, no matter what it was, immigration, any of that stuff, was all written in a way to protect them, to get their point across, to do whatever it is that they've done, whether it was the immigration stuff and they put it into play and then the feds come in and she defends it. That's what she has, and that's why she's good. And then a lot of people wonder, well, is she going to go root out corruption? Yeah, she's totally going to do that. She absolutely is going to do that. But she's going to do it in a different way. It's going to be a little bit more quiet. It's going to be a little bit more, how should I say this? Under the radar, like a silent assassin. Think of it in that direction. So this will be very interesting to see how she does when it comes to confirmation and to see what they're going to try to dig up. Because the minute somebody is out there, they're coming hard for you. And it's going to be a very interesting play to see what they can dig up, because Matt Gaetz had a lot of issues that were pre any of this too, because I had several people reached out to me and said, oh, this is just like Kavanaugh. It's not like Kavanaugh, because this Matt Gaetz investigation had been going on for years. This Matt Gaetz investigation had been there for a while. Kavanaugh was nominated, and then out of nowhere, Christy Blasey Ford shows up saying he did something to me. What did he do? I can't remember. Where did it happen? At a party. Where was the party? Over in this area. Who was there? I don't know. Wait, what? How old were you? I think high school. That's a different thing. These all had paper trails. There were certain things there. So we'll see. We'll see what happens from here. Goodness me. So is my stuff on? Did you turn my stuff off, dude? Because I keep pushing a button. Can you hear anything?
Maybe Matt.
There you go. What? You did turn it off. Oh, Mike. Fired. Worked with Bell for 2 days.
Absolutely did not turn it off.
I want to talk about TikTok and the insanity because of this.
Gotta admit, she made it pretty easy for police in Florida. They caught a robbery suspect who allegedly outed herself on TikTok. The woman filmed herself going on a shopping spree at Target. When she went to the self-checkout, she used a bogus barcode, which she also filmed. She took the items home and posted the whole video. Police officers quickly figured out who she was, went to arrest her. No clue on how many likes and shares her shoplifting video got.
When did we start doing this? When did we start thinking it was a great idea, first of all, to put everything on the internet? I do stuff. It's my job. But I will tell you, I think the demise of civilization started when we put the camera on front of the phone instead of back of the phone. So I could see myself doing things, if that makes sense. And now we're at the point where crime is entertainment. Everything is entertainment. And it's more important to get likes and shares. And people have no common sense. And it's bizarre to me that you would do that. And how many of you out there, let me tell you something. If there's a fight in the parking lot somewhere, people aren't running to stop it. Everybody takes out their phone. It's the first thing they do. Talk about that. A lot of other stuff still to get to, some immigration. We've got a caravan coming here, and they're going as fast as they can. There's a reason for that. A bunch of other stuff to get to. I am Chad Benson, in for the one and only Matt Murphy. Will be in a little while because he is in for Brian Wilson. It is the Matt Murphy Show right here on Super Talk 99.7. All right, Omaha Steaks. You guys like steaks? You should. Let me tell you right now, great Christmas gifts. Who doesn't like steaks, right? Backed by an unconditional 100% bite-for-bite guarantee that you will love Omaha Steaks, the best steaks, period, case closed, guaranteed. Starting as low as $89.99. So this holiday season, right, you're thinking, what do I get Dad, right, who knocked out the rent? Dad who helped me get through school. Not that other dad we listened to earlier who's like really mad because kids voted for Trump. But I'm talking about Dad. That guy's been there. Mom, she loves the barbecue. What do you get them? You can get them socks, right? Like that says, hey, Dad, I hate you. Here's some socks. Or you get them Omaha Steaks. They're going to love it. They're going to absolutely love it. We love it. And I will tell you, my favorite, their steaks are amazing. We know that. The burgers are just incredible. The hot dogs, the stuff, the chicken, all they get seafood. But this is my favorite right here. This is pork chops. Incredible. Right now, 50% off site-wide. On top of that, when you use my code Benson at omahasteaks.com, you're going to get an extra $30 off at checkout. And if you act now, you're going to get a $30 rewards card as well. If you want the best around 100% unconditional money-back guarantee, it's Omaha Steaks. Give it for the holidays. You'll be loved. And it's one of those things where you can give a gift and it might come back to you a little bit, if you know what I mean. OmahaSteaks.com. Use code Benson right there, BENSON, code Benson, and get yourself Omaha Steaks. Minimum purchase may apply. My Pillow right now has the best price ever for a My Pillow. That was for everybody there watching on the old stream. It is the classic My Pillow. So you know they've got several different things out there, but the classic My Pillow, this is the thing that started it all. $14.88. Now, where else are you going to get something made in America with somebody who shares your values and that's going to help you sleep at night for $14.88? Nowhere. It's holiday season. If you're going to do one thing for yourself and for others, give this for sleep. It's great. How long do we spend in bed? Well, if we're hopefully, 8 hours a night. But you want to make sure that it's great. And this is it. Different levels, sizes. They've got all kinds of deep discounts on their slippers, their mattress pads, you name it. They've got it all. But $14.88 for the classic My Pillow with a 60-day money-back guarantee and 10-year warranty. And they're going to extend that money-back guarantee all the way through March. Go to mypillow.com/Benson. It's mypillow.com/Benson. Do it now. Save big. $14.88, lowest price ever for the classic My Pillow. mypillow.com/Benson.
It's a packed courtroom in Manhattan where Sean Diddy Combs, wearing his khaki jail-issued outfit, blew kisses to his family in the second row. We'll tell you about it at 2:30 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Did he touch anybody, Ken, when he was in there?
I haven't seen that.
Did he do it? He did.
Diddy did it.
Oh, my God. That guy's never going to see the light of day. Ever.
His lawyers are seeking $50 million bail.
Yeah.
The money.
Woo. Well,
$50 million.
You can think about this for a second. Like, he filmed so many things.
Yeah.
Which everybody knows. So how many people did he do things to? And who did other things that he filmed that he's got somewhere in a thumb drive or a cloud that they can't find? Secondly, he's already shown that he can't be trusted. They caught him trying to get notes to his family members to go after witnesses, hiring private investigators. Dude, I don't care if you have a guard with you 24/7. Nobody buys it. You're worse than R. Kelly and Epstein, they're saying. That's how bad this is.
Even Suge Knight's talking about it.
Yeah, and he's horrible.
Yeah.
Yeah, but you got to remember all that Epstein stuff was made up because nobody's ever been arrested for it.
Well, of course.
So if there was somebody to arrest, I'm sure they would
Well,
have
Epstein
arrested
was it. And what's her name? Ghislaine? Ghislaine? What the hell do you say?
Ghislaine.
Ghislaine.
Maxwell.
Yeah.
She's still alive because she's got that book.
Yeah, she got a trigger on that.
Yeah, totally. That trigger says, in case of a Clinton, break the glass. I wonder if Diddy's got any Clinton stuff. You know who I haven't seen?
Well, he's still alive, so no.
Well, for now, right? For now. But I'm still waiting for who else are they going to arrest? Because you can't have a conspiracy of one. That's my...
yeah.
Because that's the big thing is the conspiracy. Well, you've got to be able to... Well, who am I conspiring with? Myself? Hey, Chad, go do something. I think I'm going to. I mean, what's that's the big... Who's next? Because I know that guy in, is it Busby or whatever, the lawyer in Texas, he's telling all the celebrities, you better start paying up now. But you know those celebrities are working for Diddy, doing everything they can to try to keep these people quiet. And he's going to be in jail forever if he survives. It's a big if. I wonder if he thought his Thanksgiving was going to be this jaily.
Yeah.
$50 million. You could give $100 million and it wouldn't matter. They're not going to let that guy go unless he's got something on the judge.
Yeah, and apparently this is a new judge.
Yeah.
Like this is, and that's why he's getting a fourth opportunity.
Man. So
Four chances.
A new judge. Wow. Because they're arguing that the video of him beating up his then girlfriend is like AI and it's doctored and it's not real.
Yeah.
That's the new argument. So, and Chris Brown's like, that's what I was saying. I don't think that was very nice, Chad. Oh, Chris Brown. Anytime you throw a Chris Brown joke in there, it's not funny, though, people. Chris Brown. They keep giving that guy more chances, though, don't they?
Yeah.
We talked earlier about Morgan Wallen. I said his name right this time.
Wallen.
God, did I screw it up again?
Yeah. It's Morgan Wallen.
See, I'm overthinking it.
You're thinking Waylon Jennings. It's Morgan Wallen.
Okay, see, I don't even know. I'm so confused at this point in time. Oh, good God. So we've still got more stuff to. We'll talk a little immigration coming up. Also, the social media phenomenon of taping yourself committing crimes and then putting it out there is not very bright. But alas, we live in America at a time when social media is rotting the minds. My name's Chad Benson. I'm in for the one and only Matt Murphy right here on Super Talk 99.7.
$2:30 on the dot. I'm Ken Weaver with your top stories. Got the full forecast in 5 minutes and the packed courtroom in Manhattan where music mogul Sean Diddy Combs is getting a fourth chance at bail in his sex trafficking case. Aaron Katursky reports attorneys argue a video of Combs allegedly attacking his ex, Cassie Ventura, was manipulated.
The prosecutors are confident they don't even need the evidence. They say there's enough just on the record, as has already been presented, to keep Combs locked up.
Yeah, Combs entered the courtroom wearing a khaki jail-issued outfit and blew kisses at his family, packing the second row there. Matt Gaetz says he's not rejoining Congress one day after withdrawing from consideration as U.S. Attorney General. Gaetz telling the Charlie Kirk podcast he's going to work to advance President-elect Trump's agenda from somewhere other than Congress.
I've got some other goals in life that I'm eager to pursue with my wife and my family. And so I'm going to be fighting for President Trump. I'm going to be doing whatever he asks of me, as I always have. But I think that 8 years is probably enough time in the United States Congress.
President-elect Trump's new pick for Attorney General is former Florida Attorney General Pam Bondi. A Metro traffic cop is hospitalized this afternoon after a crash in Donaldson. Metro police say Officer Corey West is being treated at Vanderbilt Medical Center after his police motorcycle was hit from behind by an SUV. This happening at the intersection of Elm Hill Pike and McCrory Creek Road. The 63-year-old SUV driver does not have a license and is being charged. And roads and airports may be more crowded than normal this time of year. Nearly 80 million people expected to travel this Thanksgiving holiday. That's 2 million more people than last year, according to AAA. In Florida, Kirk Skinner, TSA Federal Security Director for Tampa Bay, is asking everyone, leave your guns at home.
Veterans Day, recently, we set a new record of 11 firearms over 3 days.
That's the latest news. Weather's next. I'm Ken Weaver, WTN News.
Pointing back at you. Pointing you. Immigration, big deal. We need to fix it. We understand that. But before that, there's going to be some things that happen. Biden has changed some stuff with the app and checking in, which is throws a wrench in everything because welcome anything he can do to make things a little bit tougher, knock yourself out. But there are people coming here still, and they're making their way here as fast as possible because new sheriff, old sheriff. New sheriff, Tom Holman, with the new mayor, if you will, in the likes of Donald Trump. Old sheriff, Dippity-Doo, is going away. But he's still here, so there's a deadline. And you gotta hurry, hurry, hurry.
A caravan of about 1,500 people is heading to the U.S. from southern Mexico, hoping to make it into the U.S. before President-elect Donald Trump takes office in January. It's the latest in what has been an annual process since 2018 each fall. People from countries in Central America have traveled in groups, making it more difficult for Mexico's government to arrest or deport them and avoiding having to pay traffickers to get them to the border. But the journey has often been dangerous as drug cartels have threatened and abducted migrants as they make their way toward the U.S.
And they continue to do so. And there's a reason they're coming as fast as they possibly can. Some of them started coming a while ago, and then they heard, well, you know, there's a new guy, and they're like, we're not going to make it. And they broke up. But if you get here by the 19th and you've got an appointment, you can get yourself in here, well, then you're here.
Policy changes by the Biden administration created a process where migrants need to make appointments on an app for their chance to be processed. However, people in the caravan say they still want to be close to the border to avoid missing their appointments. President-elect Trump has pledged a strict crackdown on migrants, looking to get rid of rules that allow many to temporarily stay in the country. He's also planning to deport millions of undocumented immigrants. Another caravan traveling earlier this month broke up after news emerged of Trump's win, with half of the people in the roughly 3,000-person caravan leaving in the days after the election.
They get it. They know it's coming. There is one of the big things, you guys, you know, the deportation thing is going to be tough because I'm with Rand Paul, and some of you may disagree. I don't want the military roaming our streets. Sorry, that's the freedom in me and the libertarian. I don't want the military roaming our streets. I don't think they should be put in situations like that. But first, we've got to get the people that are already in custody. First, we've already got to get the people that we know are already through the system, meaning they came here, they applied for asylum. They were told, come to your court case. They went to the court case. The judge looked at them and said, no, you got to leave. And they have to leave. But somehow they're still here. And that's 1.3 to 1.6 million, depending who you talk to. So you couple with the people that are in custody, the people that we know are criminals, and you start adding stuff up, and you're like, all right, there's about 2 million people right there. Those are important. But we don't have the manpower for it all. We just don't. And the cost is tremendous. One of the super talk tough is because, as you heard that lady talk about, the fact is that some have already turned around and said, no, we can't. We got to go home. And there is that self-deportation. So the Filipino ambassador, I don't know if you guys saw this, he went on online and he told all the people who are Filipino who aren't supposed to be here, you guys need to go home now. Because otherwise they're going to send you home and you're never going to be able to come back, which is not true. Unlawful entry gets you a 10-year, basically, suspension from coming into the United States, whether you're coming here as a tourist or anything like that, if you've overstayed your visa or you snuck in, whatever it is. But he's already telling 300 to 500,000, again, nobody ever knows the real number, that you need to go home now. You need to leave because they're coming for you. And they're already starting to. The people that handle a lot of the stuff when it comes to Filipinos who are here illegally, unlawfully, overstayed, whatever you want to call it, they are flooding places to try to help them get home because they recognize what's happening. That's part of the coming hard at some of this stuff, is recognizing that it's not just about whether or not we're going to round up all of that's going to be the toughest thing. How about we get the bad people off the streets? How about the a-hole that killed Lincoln Riley? I won't use his name. He's a POS. Did you know what he had done? That he had already been in a position where he had been in trouble. There were a case dismissed about him and a minor. He then applied for a work permit and got it. It's like they are doing everything they can to screw this thing up. You're not a country if you don't have a border. There's enough low-hanging fruit. The assistant DA in New York, did you guys talk about that? Where she got stabbed and attacked, sexually assaulted. And so this is Bragg's second in charge by a guy. Are you ready for this? 6 times he's been arrested this year, and he's still out. 6 times.
Did she complain about it?
She did, because not only did he assault her, he then did a lewd act in front of her. I'm not quite sure what that is, but I can only assume. And he was laughing as they were putting him in the back of the car. Why wouldn't he be? He's done 6 different times he's been arrested, and he's part of, yes, Frente Agua. 6 different times, and you've done nothing to figure out how to deport him? Common sense says that. Common sense says, hey, maybe this one's not a good one. Maybe the thought of coming to America and the shining beacon on the hill and becoming an American, maybe this guy's not interested in that. 6 times. The guy that killed Lincoln Riley had been arrested. There's enough low-hanging fruit and enough people that we need to go after first. But so much of what Tom Holman is going to do is with Trump and changing the Remain in Mexico policy, that right there is enough to push people back because they recognize what is going to happen if they cross over is not what happens now, which is an ushering in with a high five and go enjoy your hotel. By the way, maybe you're taking it from a veteran who's struggling. Oh, God, it's so infuriating. My name's Chad Benson. I'm in for Matt Murphy. He's going to be in a little bit, obviously. I want to talk about this. People are going to be traveling. Ken, are you traveling over the holidays? You're not going anywhere, right?
I'm staying right here, dude.
You're not going anywhere. Bell's not going anywhere. He's got nowhere to go. Right? Bill's hanging out with us the whole time. Are you
What are
going
you talking about? Where am I supposed to go?
The traveling. Are you traveling for the holidays?
For the holidays?
Mm-hmm.
No.
Okay. Well, if you are, do you guys know what gate lice is?
Gate lice? When somebody else on your plane has lice and they give it to you?
No, this is new, and they're trying to stop gate lice from happening. And guys, if you've traveled, you know what I'm talking about.
If you are one of the millions of Americans flying this holiday season, you might want to avoid trying to board before your assigned group. American Airlines is cracking down on line cutters by expanding its new boarding technology that stops passengers from boarding early.
This really might be more necessary at American than any other airline because it's the largest airline in the U.S. and it has 9 boarding groups, really 10 when you consider pre-boarding. This is the name for somebody who cuts in line. They're called gate lice. And now...
Gate lice. So... we're all going to the same place. And I've flown enough. We're all going to the same place. I've yet to get on an airplane and realize, man, the people in first class, they went somewhere else. Right? That doesn't happen. So, and if they do go somewhere else, chances are that flight has not gone the way you thought it was going to go. But gate lice, they're saying, is those people like, you're in boarding group 5. And they call people who need help, veterans, things like that. So they haven't even called the group that is 1. And those people head to the front. In group 8, you weren't called yet. You're still 7 away. Those people drive everybody crazy.
When a gate agent... scans your boarding pass, this audible alert goes off, and that passenger is essentially sent back to the penalty box, asked to rejoin the line. It's a pretty simple piece of tech. This is on the gate agent's smartphone. And American has been trying this out at a few different places, some smaller airports like Albuquerque and Tucson. And it says they'll be rolling this out. It's pretty critical, the timing here, because American's expecting about 8.3 million passengers over the Thanksgiving rush, 77,000 flights.
Yeah. Next Sunday is supposed to be the busiest travel day in history, with up to 50,000 flights in the air throughout the day. So avoid the gate lice if you can. You know what? God, it pisses me off.
Oh, yes.
I mean, I don't care. It's like, you know what? We're all going to the same place. And well, what if I don't get a place to store my bag? Then take what you need and let them. Because you know what? I've done that. I hear you fine, take it. I've got everything I need right here.
Yeah.
And they take it from you and they go, we're just storing under, but you'll get it back first. And when you walk off the airplane, it's always waiting for you. But why are you standing here? It doesn't make the plane go faster. You're not getting on it any earlier.
No.
That is absolutely untrue. It does make the plane go faster.
You would
It
know.
will add between 10 and 15% to the speed of the plane.
Oh, my God. Gate lice. It's just, that drives, it should drive everybody crazy. It should. I mean, it's welcome to the world we live in where people are just no common sense. Not like we were talking about earlier with people who are filming their crimes. And then they put it on their internet. And then they're shocked that somebody showed up.
Yeah.
I can't believe that. I mean, who would have thought? Who would have thought you're committing a crime? That people live stream crimes now. Like this is it. That is just. But what happens when the like and the share became currency in people's minds? That's what happens. The like and share are currencies. If somebody likes something, if somebody shares something, that's a win for me. I'm all of those things. And yeah, you get a rush of dopamine, but committing crime, like I was always under the impression, if you're going to do something wrong, tell the least amount of people. That was like when I was little, I was like, yeah, that's probably something you should do. Like not tell everybody. Like, and what was the old mob, right? Like the old mob is like, if two people know about a crime, kill them both, and then they don't know, it's like, that's not here. Now it's like, how many people will like and share my stuff? I have no idea. It's crazy. All right, coming up, we're going to wrap it up. We got Matt. I just saw him wandering around. I got some of your text here. Don't be a gate louse.
Gate louse.
If you have a boarding pass and you try to cut boarding early, they should bump you. Oh, that's not a bad idea. Bump you back to group 15. There isn't a group 15. We know. We're leaving. You know what? You thin the herd. Like, if you try to jump the line, then maybe you get bumped from the flight altogether. You do that a couple times, people are like, dude, don't mess with American because they will make sure you never get on the airplane. Never. Coming up, Matt Murphy's going to join us, talk about what's going on with him. Because, you're like, Chad, isn't this Matt show? Yes, it is, but he's filling in for Brian. So there you go. He's pitching to the left a little bit is what he said. And by the way, his hair looks delicious today. I saw him come by with his flowing locks. Man, Trump would be so proud of those. It is the Matt Murphy program with me, Chad Benson, for him right now. He'll be here straight ahead. Super Talk 99.7.
The guaranteed offer is the easiest way to sell your home. It's really simple. We bring you an all-cash offer. You close in as little as 21 days. No home inspections, no lockboxes, no open houses. Go to markspain.com to get a guaranteed offer and start packing.
Did you know you're overpaying for your health and wellness products?
With over 20 company-owned brands offering its members vitamins, supplements, wellness, and skincare products, you're able to save up to 70% off retail.
Members Nutrition can't change your life, but we can change the way you live.
Hey, what's up, guys? It's Matt Murphy in the middle of downtown Franklin, Tennessee. We've talked so much about Savory Spice. I thought, why not show you the place? So let's go on in and see what's popping at Savory Spice. As I've always said, you will smell the spices even before you walk in. I can smell them right here in the doorway. Come on in and let's introduce you to the one and only Holly, who is the owner and proprietor of Savory Spice. Say hey, Holly.
Hello, everyone.
Now, enough about Holly. Let's talk about spicy and easy products like the incredible taco soup, which, as I said, you put this in a crock pot, you put all the ingredients that it tells you to buy right there, you put the spices in, and it's so easy. So if you don't know what you're doing around the kitchen, it's a perfect way to find your way around the kitchen, as is the Mediterranean dill risotto. Now, for the holidays, pumpkin pie spice. What doesn't it have, Holly?
Pumpkin.
Doesn't have any pumpkin in it. That's a fun fact for all of you kids out there. Now, if you stop by Savory Spice, either in the Franklin location or at L&L Market, you can get yourself a sample of the dill dip, which is my absolute favorite. Just tell them Matt Murphy sent you to Savory Spice with purchase now. So come by Franklin or L&L Market in Nashville and come see Holly and the entire crew at Savory Spice.
I do everything from scrubbing cages to asking people for donations to answering the phones and helping facilitate getting animals to the rehab. I'm there on the weekends, up there taking care of animals with the team.
You got a great team there. It's a small team, but a great team that works together. And
I started about 20 years ago. My dear friend Carol Burgess founded Harmony in Fairview.
Okay.
And we decided to reopen it in West Nashville. And we are rocking along. Lots of animals. One of the primary calls that we get are, I found a bird, it's on the ground, what do I do? And in most situations, you should let it alone unless there's an imminent danger to that animal, because the parents are helping it and feeding it, and it just needs a couple of scary days on the ground until it gets back up into flight. What about bunnies, Melody? Can we give advice about bunnies?
The bunnies, they're just the sweetest, most innocent creatures, and we just see the worst things happen to them. Cats, dogs, lawnmowers, weed whackers.
In most cases, if the animals aren't injured, if you can put the rabbits back, that's always better to be with the mother rabbit than to come to us.
All the storms that have been coming through and just destroying nests, and a lot of babies will be found on the ground. Re-nesting is possible and preferable.
You play the video calls and you put the baby near where they found it, and the mama will actually come down and pick it up and then bring it back.
Oh, nice.
Isn't that cool?
Nice.
Closing time right now. Matt Murphy Show. Matt Murphy here. In for Brian. I'm Chad. In for Matt. See the way that worked?
I do.
So Monday we're all going to be hanging out together.
Nashville Rescue Mission.
Nashville. I was just getting a lowdown for that. So that's going to be
the big skinny. It is. It is very heartwarming. It's gut wrenching. I mean, it's right there in your face. And once a year. I mean, during the week that we want to give thanks, right? I mean, it is a reminder that we have much to give thanks for. It's simultaneously a reminder that a way to give thanks for the blessings that we have in our life is to give to others that do not have those blessings. Yeah.
That's, you know what? I don't think people realize. I just tell everybody this, I've been fortunate enough to live in Europe for a long time. It's like, I don't care what color you are. I don't care who you worship. I don't care who you love. The minute you're born in America, compared to the rest of the world, no matter how bad you think you have it here, you start at third base.
No question.
People don't understand that.
No, I mean, and I've said for a long time that in the United States of America, you cannot say this around the globe, but in the United States of America, I believe that absent mental or physical infirmity, poverty is a choice. Long-term poverty is a choice.
Absolutely.
And you can't say that about some countries. There are some countries that absent an incredible athletic ability or some natural God-given talent that somehow escapes you from the – I mean, if you're born, you're just average Joe citizen in Haiti,
yeah,
you're screwed.
Yeah, you're screwed.
You're screwed. So we're already blessed to be in the United States of America. However, there are some people that do have physical or mental limitations or have had issues in their lives. And
I mean, my little brother he's got cerebral palsy. He eats out of a tube. He drinks out of a tube. He's never walked or talked in his life. And he still has it. You know, I look and I love him to death. And I think to myself, is he in any other country? They may have drowned him.
Yeah, no question.
You know, I mean it's nobody was
happens.
doing, and it's incredible. We're so blessed, and people don't understand that. And I always say, our poor are obese. They're dying of diabetes.
I have a question.
Yes.
If we start at third base, why have I spent so much of my life trying to get there?
To third base? Yeah, because
we did talk about absent mental infirmity.
Yes.
So I think you would probably
be fair enough.
No head, dude.
You'd probably be falling into that.
In normal countries, other countries, they would have buried you by now.
Well, and I've said for years, and I'm sure you've said it the same way, Chad, that in the United States of America, our version of middle class, I mean, that is well-to-do in most other countries.
Our poor are fat, and they have air conditioning.
And they got cable TV.
And cable TV
and cell phones.
for God's sakes.
Come on, we got it good, baby.
I love America, baby.
God bless America.
Cheb, it's in for Matt, and for Brian.
Yeah.
Oh, my God. So
Yeah,
we talked
that's right.
99.7.
That's it.